Okay, I'm trying to find my channel here.
You are live. There we are. We are there. Oh, I don't
Are we
know.
there?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're there.
Okay, well,
Oh,
it's not coming up on my phone.
it'll just take a second. If your phone is slow, it just popped up on mine. So we're live on your channel. There's nobody in
Oh,
the chat yet, though.
there we go. I got it. Hi, everybody.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, little technical glitch. Again. Again. Ugh.
So it is Mercury retrograde.
That does
We'll just
not.
blame it on Mercury.
I already did that yesterday. I don't think it's gonna be the gift that keeps on giving. It's like I can't seem to figure out what's wrong with. I don't know. We do have people in the chat though. Okay, Tammy is back.
I see. I think I've got you guys up on my phone.
We have Jude.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi, Jude. Hi, Tammy. So if you guys see me looking down, it's the only way I can see your comments, okay?
Same
So I'll be
here.
looking
Same
I'll
here.
be looking up here, and then occasionally I'll be looking down there.
Hi
So
Virgo,
welcome.
Empress. How are you? Saying hi to your chatters.
Oh, hi, Shauna. Hi,
Hello.
Virgo Empress. So everybody say hi to Julene from
Hi.
Jovi Star Astrology.
Hi, everybody.
So this is new for us. We're getting all techie here.
I have a technical person that that helps me, but oh my gosh, this is complicated. Yeah.
So we got Marsha and Emily and Brenda.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody. So tonight, we're going to do a collaboration, of course, as you know, but we're going to also start off with a channeled message from Spirit, and then we're going to do a quick candle full moon release ceremony, okay? Full moons are all about releasing things or forgiveness, releasing things, letting things go. And then the new moon, of course, is about manifesting the things that you're trying to bring in to fill the void, right? Is that right? Julie's laughing at me. She's like, yeah,
No,
kind of.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Brenda's comment. She says,
Oh,
"Happy full moon." Also, I have a Cancer stellium, so I mean, I'm not feeling this shit at all.
oh. So I
Oh,
got Cancer all over in my chart.
I love
Cancer and
it.
Virgo, that's about all I am.
That's funny.
Okay, so we're going to give everybody a little bit of time to get in the room. Julene, if you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your channel and, give everybody some information about yourself, we can take up a little
Yeah.
time doing that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you, Tracy, for doing this collab with me. We did a recorded collab a few months ago, and our plans were to try and do something at least once a month, and things have just gone sideways. So thank you, Tracy. I appreciate
Always.
it. And so my channel is Jovies, Jove apostrophe S Star Soul Astrology, and I am an astrologer. I look at the astrological events that are going on. I look at birth charts for personal readings. I can do transits, and I look at relationship and synastry, which I know a lot of Tracy's viewers are really interested in how the relationships look and work in astrology. So I'm happy to be here and share information with all of you, and appreciate that Tracy asked me to come on over. So here I am.
So Spirit always channels astrology to me, and I have zero knowledge. So I just want you to know, Julene, you would be so proud of me. I bought an astrology deck. I bought a book. It says the only book you'll ever need to learn astrology, and it's like 50 years old. So my guess is probably not. I didn't realize when I purchased it on Amazon how old the text was. And then I bought me the Moonology diary. For the
Nice.
Moonology deck, I bought the
Yeah.
Moonology diary to follow along with the phases of the moon. And so I am attempting to try to learn a little bit about, hi Don, a little bit about what spirit channels to me, because a lot of times in the channeled message, I will get, information pertaining to the astrological events that are going on, and I have no clue what they're talking about. So I am trying to learn at least the basics, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I did learn today, and I didn't look at my chart, but I did learn that with the full moon in Cancer, any place that's at 27 degrees in your birth chart is the place that it will hit you kind of the most potent, I guess is the right word.
Yeah, you want to look for this full moon, you want to look at 27 degrees of Cancer first and Capricorn as well. And then look at anything else in your chart that might be at 27 degrees to see if it's aspecting the full moon at all. Also, if you have any personal planets in Capricorn and Cancer that are conjunct within a 10-degree orb, and that's aspecting, then that can tell a story as well, including the nodes. If this full moon is hitting your nodes or the then that would be something that you'd want to look at as well.
So my North Node
yeah.
is in Taurus, and isn't it aspecting in Taurus?
Well, the full
Aren't the
moon,
nodes moving like
the nodes
in?
aren't moving. That's different. So the full moon is Cancer and Capricorn. So if
Oh, okay.
if your north node is in Taurus, the nodes have just switched into Taurus and Scorpio today, from Gemini and Sagittarius, where we were for a year and a half. And so now we are in South Node Scorpio, North Node Taurus, nodal axis time. And so that energy will be sort of orbiting around the universe, hitting all of us. But if you have a Taurus, North Node, South Node Scorpio, you are in your nodal return. Yeah.
Oh, so what does that mean? Because Emily just said her North Node is Taurus too.
Well, the South Node is where you come from, right? It's the
Right.
energy and the life patterns and behaviors that you already have mastered, and in your chart, right, it's where you come from. So you come into this world or this life with that energy, and the idea is to move towards the energy of your North Node. So if you hear people say, what does follow your true north mean? In astrology, it means follow your North Node, which is your mission. In astrology, we call that, it's your North Node mission. So for Taurus,
Wow.
yeah. So for Taurus, North Node, we're talking about a sign that's ruled by Venus. That is all about earthly, it's an earth sign. It's all about comfort and security and resources and what we value and what we love. So Scorpio is, keeping things close to the vest and secret, and maybe a little bit of fear or just things that we don't want to come out of. It's a little bit of obviously power and control energy, because that's what happens when we're fearful, right? So it's taking that energy and moving into your North Node, not completely abandoning that Scorpio energy, because we need to be a little bit, apprehensive and careful, until we know our surroundings and what we want to do. But we want to integrate that. So it is an integration of energies. And so you guys with those nodes will be having that experience over the next 18 months. And we all will, but you'll feel a little bit of a push. Now, Tracy, you're going through your third nodal return. It happens. Now, Tracy, you're going through your
I'm
third
dropping shit.
nodal return. You have them every 19 years. So for Tracy, it's her third one, and I'll go ahead and give myself up. I just had my third nodal return on the Gemini Sagittarius axis, and I can tell you without a doubt, a lot of things changed for me in that area. So learning and communication, putting out there, what it is that I know. So you guys are in for a ride. Take good
Oh,
notes. Yeah, listen to your dreams. Journal. It'll be good.
so I just see who's Rebel Talk Radio. Welcome. Hello. You're
I
new to the channel here. Nice to see you.
I know Rebel Talk Radio.
Oh, do you? All
That's my
right.
that's my son. He's our
Oh,
technical crew.
hello, Brandon. Is it Brandon
Dustin. But
or
yeah,
Dustin?
Rebel
And I
Talk
think there
Radio.
was an
Yeah.
un at the end. He's our tech guy.
Yeah, he has a channel, Rebel Talk Radio. He reviews amateur hip hop and rap music for the younger culture. It's a fun channel if anybody's interested in that kind of music. But thanks for helping us tonight.
Yes,
Yay!
absolutely. Okay, so yeah, it's Brandon. He's laughing at me.
Go, Brandon. All right.
All right, so I have a channeled message. Looks like we got 13 people in the room. If you guys could just do us a solid and get the thumbs up for us, that would be awesome because it helps to promote the video and get it out there for more viewers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read you what I channeled. And it was a little bit different than I expected. Go ahead, Julian. What do you need to say?
I'm going to go ahead and just flip off my camera while you do that, but I'm going to be watching in the background. And then when you're ready, for me to join you, I'll come back. How's that?
Okay, sounds. Are you going to join us for the candle service, or do you want to wait to come back until after that?
Well, I'm going to be right here listening. I just don't want to be a distraction for while you're doing that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, not that your beautiful smile is going to distract anything. I always show up like drowned rat. My hair is wet, no makeup on.
No.
I promised myself at the beginning of my channel that I wasn't going to stress too much over that because if I did, I'd never show up to the camera.
Well, you listen. You do what you're comfortable with, and then everybody else is good with it too. So
that's right.
are.
I figure I'm as authentic as they get. So if authenticity is what you like, you're at the right channel.
There you go. All right, perfect. Okay, guys.
All right,
I'm listening.
I'll give you a yell here in just a minute. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right. So just bye-bye. So she's still here, guys. If you want to chat in the chat room with her, you can. But she's just shutting off her camera while I go ahead and give the channeled message. Okay. So as I started to say, I was a little surprised by what my team, which is how they signed off. It was my spirit, my guides, my team that I was channeling tonight, and I'm a Cancer sun and a Cancer rising. So I was kind of expecting to get all the emotional stuff, which is part of the channeling, but it seems like Spirit wanted to say this is more of like a divine feminine detox. I mean, it's like the archetype of the mother, which Cancer is representative of the archetype of the mother. So I'm going to go ahead and read you what I've got, and then we can discuss it a little bit, and then we're going to do our candle release service to, write out what it is that we want to cut cords with or release or forgive, and then we'll bring Julene back and we'll kind of talk about her side of stuff because she's much more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. So full moon in Cancer energies. So my team titled this Welcome Home. And well, it was a bit cheeky. Welcome home to the detox. Okay. So Cancer is the sign of family and home. It's where we go to connect with our inner well-being and sense of security, and our emotional state. So Spirit says this moon will hit us all differently depending on our own personal journey. Expect to kind of seek respite and your own personal well-being, and don't be surprised if you get triggered around your childhood traumas, especially in regards to the mother or your mother figure, especially if you have any unresolved dealings or unresolved healing or shadow trauma around that. You could also be triggered around your family, children if you have any, or home. So for example, working with the energies of your shadow during retrogrades, it could bring up emotional purges in these areas. Also, retrogrades tend to bring things from the past up to the surface for a review. It can, especially with Venus retrograde, bring back ex-lovers or friends back who are feeling nostalgic, and it gives us an opportunity to decide if we needed closure. Full moon is about forgiveness and release, so it's healing and closure, or to reconcile and give things another try. Cancer is a very loving, empathetic sign. I can't read my own writing. Summed. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. Summed up in a couple words would be nurturing, deep feelings, and intuition. Cancer is ruled by the moon, so wherever you have 27 degrees of Cancer in your natal chart, and I put in parentheses, Julene will be able to help you channel around your own natal chart. So if you're interested, make sure you book a reading with her. And it is the place where you will feel this full moon the most. Also, Spirit says Gaia is also highly attuned to the moon and is the archetype of the divine mother, Earth Mother. So she is also expected to purge a lot of her inner trauma, as well as can be witnessed with the severe weather patterns, tornadoes, blizzards, and the underwater volcanic eruption that created the tsunami in Tonga region. Gaia is ascending. She is also going through her own ascension process, and just like us humans, she is purging and purifying her soul for her higher self and ascension. Think of all the trauma and karma that has been accumulating on Gaia for billions of years. So we are all going through a purification of our divine feminine mother archetype. And remember, guys, that the divine feminine is in everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a masculine or a feminine. It's an energy. It's the archetype of the divine mother, which, when we are in a balanced state, resides in everybody. So there is a great light attribute also, because we talked about the shadow attribute. And Spirit wanted to talk about the light attribute to this moon. And they're saying, think how refreshed and healthy you feel after a great cleanse and detox. Some people may experience body purges as well, as if it is detoxing, such as skin breakouts, gastrointestinal issues, if you know what I mean, and fevers. The virus is actually weakening and detoxing as well. It will grow weaker and weaker as it spreads faster and faster. So to sum it all up, look at this full moon in Cancer as a great purge and detox of the divine mother archetype. Try not to fight your emotions. Allow yourself to sit with them and feel them without judgment. And if a forgiveness is being asked, give it freely and release it with this full moon. So self-love and mothering is best now. And then they signed off, much love, Tracy's team. So I thought that was short and sweet. I kind of requested that at the beginning when I started channeling. I told Spirit we were doing a collaboration and we didn't want to do like a 2-hour channeled message. So basically, I don't know how you guys have been feeling, but I do know, like my sister. So another thing, I guess I'm channeling because I'm getting more information now. Another thing they want me to talk about is not just internal emotions, but there's also an external purge that's happening with Mercury retrograde is what I'm hearing. So we can throw that in the mix too. So if there's anything, like say you've been driving around with a car that has a loose, come on Spirit, what are you giving me? Like a loose brake line. And then during this time it breaks and you have to do car repair. It's actually there to bring it up to the surface, to get it taken care of and cleared out during the retrogrades, is what I'm hearing. And so my sister Trudy's been staying with me. She's sick. She thinks she might have COVID. She don't know. She's been running a fever, and it's all gastrointestinal for her. Thank God, nothing with the lung issues. But she goes tomorrow to get her test. But she's been staying with me, quarantining in the bedroom. But their pipes burst while they were gone to Columbus for the long weekend. And so her house flooded. So things like this is also what Spirit's telling me that can happen during the retrograde, not so much because of the full moon, but more so because of the retrograde. There are things that, you know, needed repaired, needed to be taken care of, and maybe they're, you know, hidden in the roof or out of sight, out of mind, and those kind of things will come up also to be, you know, kind of detoxed and cleansed and repaired and healed. And so I'm going to say that that's probably the end of the channeling, but that was kind of a PS there that I was getting, is whenever you're dealing with retrograde, there's going to be also you know, like technological difficulties like we had tonight, and there's miscommunications, and there's, you know, things can break and need fixed and that kind of thing. So be aware of that at this time. And I'm going to go ahead then and ask, I'm just going to, because now I've got the live chat right up where I can see it. Usually it's so far away I can't see it. Before I start the candle service, is there anything anybody wants to share? I see Tammy said her furnace went out at 4 times Saturday at minus 30 degrees temperature. Brr. Has anybody else been, has anybody else, I was trying to look back here. Has anybody else experienced anything that, you know, has broken or technologically gone awry since this has happened? And how are you feeling emotionally? Have you had any trauma around the mother that maybe has been coming up for you to heal and clear and release? I figured I'd give you guys just a minute to kind of, you know, commiserate and let me know if you're going through anything. And then we'll go ahead and start our candle service. Your computer sent weird messages this morning and required restarting several times. You know what, Tammy, my left ear has been ringing so loud. Like earlier today, it was like somebody was blowing a dog whistle in my ear. So anybody purging, you know, I'm going to be honest, a lot of you guys I know resonate with being divine feminines. And because of that, you've been doing a lot of healing around the archetype of the divine feminine and the mother. And so we may not get triggered as much as we would have, say, a couple of years ago with a moon like this, because we've been doing the work. But if you have friends and family that, you know, haven't done much shadow work, or they're not even aware of it, right? Like sometimes you go out in public and you just see people losing their shit everywhere. So, you know, we can have a little empathy for other people who are purging or crying or having emotional breakdowns. Also, you know, there can be issues between mothers and children right now too. You know, there can be healing, forgiveness, shadow work that needs to be done around the family, around, you know, spouses or your children or your parents. So all of that can also come up. You know, there's a guy that I do a psychic expo for, and he called me today 4 times. And I could hear everything he was saying, and he couldn't hear a thing I was saying. And I laughed about that too, because when he finally got through with a real call, I said, there goes Mercury retrograde. So I'm going to go ahead now. Does everybody, hopefully you guys have got your candles. It doesn't have to be spell candles. It can actually be tea light candles, or a little candle. I've even used birthday candles before. But I'm going to go ahead. I chose the purple, and I chose it intuitively. I feel like this is around like receiving, I don't know why, but I felt like the white for purging and detoxing, and the purple for like crown chakra and being open to receive the messages that we need during this full moon. So I am writing on here ascension, and intuition, because remember, Cancer is kind of ruled by the moon, and so intuition, that moon energy of intuition, divine knowledge, empathy, that kind of thing. And on the white one, I am writing protection. Jesse's gaming in the other room. And I'm writing purification. Okay, and I always, just for me, and you guys can do this too, but I always draw the Vesica Pisces and write union on every full moon, new moon, because as you know, I'm on the twin flame journey. I know most of you are too. And hey, it doesn't hurt to do manifestation around union, now does it? All right, so I'm going to anoint these candles. I have this protection oil. Where's the camera? I can't see. Okay, protection oil. And I'm going to anoint those with that. And then I've got love oil. I keep turning it the wrong way apparently, but that's all right. You guys, most of you guys have seen these before, so it's nothing new. Okay, one down and one to go. And thank you to Dawn for our candle holders. I've got the full moon one because we're doing full moon, and then I've got one of the half moons also. So remember, guys, full moons are about healing and releasing. So you can do cord cutting. Let's say if you had a fight with somebody, and you can do healing around that. You can close out cycles. You can use a full moon to close out cycles. If you work with the moon, like we've been working with the moon, you can look at your last new moon ritual and what were you asking for, and if anything came in around that needs adjustment, you can also kind of tweak your request during the full moon for that to be kind of cleaned up too, Like I'll never forget when I was kind of lonely and wanted love, and I remember telling the universe, I just want a man that will never leave me. And don't you know, I manifested a husband, and like I wasn't clear. I didn't ask for compassion and undying love and all the other stuff. I just said a man that will never leave me, and that's exactly what I got. Even when I wanted him to. But we're good friends now, so everything works out in the end, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and light these candles. And what did I do? So, dear Mother, Father, God, please come into the space and bless it. Make it holy ground. Surround us in the white light of love and protection. Please hear our manifestations and our requests around healing and release all of the negativity and things in our lives that no longer serve us. All right, guys, now I want you to take a moment, take a piece of paper and a pen, and just really think about anything that you're going through in your life right now that you just are kind of ready to say, I'm done, right? But make sure you're doing it in a healing manner. You don't want it, you know, we're not doing any black magic here. We're just forgiving and release. Thanks, Francine. Thank you, darling, so much. So we're just kind of like, I already know what I'm releasing. I have some stuff, family issues. So there's where that full moon in Cancer is hitting me. I have a child that's going through a lot right now, and I kind of want to release control of that over to the universe. So you guys can write out whatever you feel in your own personal life that you need to do healing and cord cutting, or just, I like to do a release ceremony where I just offer it up to God. I'm just like, you know, whatever's meant to be will be, and I trust the divine course of all things, right? And then I write down the situations where I feel like that's necessary. So go ahead and write yours out, and then we're going to burn it. And then, well, here, I wanted to do this too. I always like to burn a little Palo Santo or sage, just to clear sacred space. This Palo Santo that I bought is so hard that you literally have to hold it in the flame for like ever to just get it to smudge. All right, Spirit. With love and light, we release all negativity. And then let me grab my bowl, which Jesse's been putting garbage in. This is not a garbage pail, child. All right. All right, so I'm going to write my stuff out now. Jude, thank you, darling. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I love you. You're my hero. All right, releasing with love. And healing. And you know, you guys don't have to do this, but on every one of the full moons, I always write, I am releasing limited belief systems. I just feel like, you know, we are growing and evolving, and we are reprogramming ourselves away from a lot of that old archetypal energy of, you know, that masculine patriarch rule where everything's thumbed under, and bringing back some of that divine feminine energy. So limited belief systems. And I always also write down worry or stress. I'm releasing that and letting it go. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a relatively short list because I've done so much healing in the last year or so that I really don't have a lot of things that I haven't already kind of released. A lot of the things on my list are things that are out of my control anyways. But, you know, being a mother and being the kind of person I am, I like to try and control things. So a lot of times my release ceremony is all around releasing that need to control and micromanage the universe, which knows a hell of a lot better than I do what needs to be done, right? So, okay, we're going to light this sucker up. If you have a bowl, I use the little conch shell here. You know, I put a piece of tape over the holes because it's a big one. It's got natural holes in it, but it's a clamshell or whatever you call it. Or you can use a glass bowl, anything that's water, or I mean, not water, fire retardant. You know, you don't want to burn your house down. And then we light them up, light them up. I'm on fire. All right, and so I always twist mine a little bit, but I twist it loosely so it'll burn fast. The more air you let flow through it, the quicker it'll burn. We'll try really hard not to set off my fire alarm. I'm going to drink my tea while she burns. Burn it up. And then later, if I can get out my front door, because we've got 3 feet of snow out there, I will release it into the wind, you know. Let the divine 4 winds carry it wherever spirit needs it to go. I release this with love and light and compassion and empathy. And so it is. Almost there, guys. The place where it's twisted always takes the longest to burn. How you guys doing out there? Is yours burning? Yeah, Jude, me too. I am a micromanager from way back, I swear. Like even my twin flame journey, I try to tell the universe like the way I want it to work out, and you know, I want it all and I want it now, and there are times when you just gotta kind of trust the divine flow of things. My mantra for the year of 2022 is I am in allowance. I'm allowing what wants to come in, and what wants to go out to go out. All right, so mine is all done. As you guys can see, it's all ashes now. All done. There's one little, well, actually, that's a piece of sage, I think, that caught fire down there. I had a little piece of sage floating around in the bottom. I want to make sure it's sage and not part of my list. Got to burn it all, man. Nothing can survive, right? Well, see, there I am micromanaging again. Maybe the universe says that little piece don't need to burn. We're holding on to that. So whatever's meant to be will be. I think that's sage, though. Yeah, it's sage. It smells good. All right. I'm going to put that back over there. And now, Julene, I am all done with my portion. If you would like to come back on camera and you can channel to us what you have, you know, to explain around my channeled message. I don't know why, because I was not expecting divine feminine detox. That was not what I was expecting to hear from spirit.
Well, I was listening. We've got some feedback. Is your sound on your phone? Mine's not. No, but it's gone now.
I was going to say it's not feeding back over here.
It's gone now. Yeah, I was listening in the background, and you know, I think that actually that isn't all that unusual. You know, if we think about Saturn, who is the father of the sky, you know, the disciplinarian, the one who creates structure, and then the moon, which represents, like you said, the mother and the female energy. So it really isn't all that unusual that your message came to you that way. So, we've had a lot of restrictive and disciplinarian fatherly type energy that's been going on here, obviously during the entire month during Capricorn season since late December. And, a full moon, like, what is a full moon, right? A full moon is an opposition of the energies. So it is the earth coming in between the moon and the sun. So when you have an opposition, it's a bit of a tug of war, right? But the idea, just like any other opposition in astrology, and that's how we look at it, is that opposition is sort of a teeter-totter tug of war, is to integrate that. And so for this full moon, I believe that that's exactly what it's asking us to do, is integrate what's going on in our physical reality, Capricorn, in terms of our financial structures, and, how we love people and how we put our relationships together practically, and how we work with one another, whether that is a relationship or it's in our job or whatever it is we do, and actually get in touch with the emotionality of that. Come back to you, right? Come back to, because
Right.
yeah, the moon is the mother. Cancer rules the fourth house, and in astrology that is all about the home and the foundation and the family and the mother and your emotions and your childhood. So that those can be things that could be coming up from way back, right? That you were
Right.
talking about, that come up, that need to be released. So it makes perfect sense. And, when the full moon comes around, that is a culmination. We set our intentions, and Tracy does new moon videos as well. You set your intentions at the time of the new moon, which happened earlier this month in Capricorn. And of course, all of that, that new moon was, combining with Venus that had already gone retrograde on December the 19th, coming up on Mercury that went retrograde last week on the 14th. And then Pluto that has also been traveling with the sun, that is now, and that is today. We come to the culmination, the full moon that happened yesterday. And Pluto is the planet of change and
Yeah.
power, and it will draw things in. So Pluto's been traveling in. There's a lot of Capricorn energy. And then now we've got this moon that comes in, right? And wants to put a little softness to it. So we've spent all of this time getting really serious about what's important to us. What have we done that is responsible, or are we doing, or is what we are doing is responsible? And that's, acting out of integrity in everything we do within our relationships and within our lives in general. All of that Capricorn energy has been asking us to take a look at that,
Right.
collectively and individually. And like you said, Tracy, if you've got, sensitive point in your chart, it's a little bit, it's more of a focus. But
Right.
yeah, so we've got Saturn, Capricorn, the father, and then we've got the moon coming in. And so I kind of have been looking at this as, like, sort of like the return of mom and dad. But really it's like you're looking to see, am I responsible and authentic and true? And everything at this point, when the emotions come in, everything will come back to you. So it's kind of like, Tracy likes to use songs on her channel. So it's like, just like Steven Tyler says, everything you do will come back to you. And so and the universe, I believe, is giving us grace in terms of having Venus retrograde and having Mercury retrograde, with all of the serious energy, and now the emotional part coming in that we need to look at. Mercury, yes, it can cause technical issues. It can cause glitches, things like, especially in Aquarius, right? Because Aquarius, rules, Uranus rules Aquarius, and that rules technology. But aside from that, it's also the revolutionary. It's the breakout. It's like, what can we do differently than what we were doing before?
Right.
And so with Mercury in retrograde and Venus in retrograde, it's giving us a bit of grace. during all of this planning, all of this time where we're sitting down and taking a good look at how we're living our lives, and holding us back, right? It's holding us
Right.
back a little bit. Be careful what you say. Do you really want to say that? Right? Be
Right.
careful what you do in your relationships. Is what you value, because Venus is what you value, and that can be a lot of things. Yes, love. Yes, money. Yes, anything that you value. Is that really how you want to navigate that?
Right.
Retrograde, right? It can also pull things back in that are in our minds, or still we still have pieces of things in our lives that we haven't resolved
Right. Yeah,
around
I
those
see
issues,
that
love
kind
and
of like
money. Hmm.
cord attachments, energetic
Yeah.
cording. When you speak of that, I kind of get this vision of, it's energy that we're still kind of toting around with ourselves that needs to be resolved.
Right. And the retrogrades will bring that back in, but we also have Pluto doubling down on that, which pulls things in. Pluto is a draw. It's deep, it's deep down under. You can't hide it. It's intense, and it is related to karma. Okay,
Right.
Pluto, right. So with this full moon, the sun and Pluto conjunct. So some things will come to the surface. Why?
Right.
Because they need to be looked at. Sometimes they need to be blown up and rebuilt and transformed. Sometimes it comes to the surface and into our awareness, and that's where the emotionality comes in. Because then you start to like feel, it's like, you're not just a robot, right? If we just had Capricorn energy, it's like we'd just be a robot.
Right.
But we have the feelings, and so what's coming up, and that could, a lot of things could happen where that's concerned. You could actually have, an insight where you actually are able to see something that has been bubbling under the surface for really what it is, and work
Well,
on changing that. Or something could come to the surface and actually be taken away. Pluto is beginnings and endings as well, right? Pluto rules Scorpio, and that's all about beginnings and endings. So it's a really interesting time. And I know I've talked to a lot of people in readings, and they've had their relationships kind of go sideways and get confused. Communication sort of stutter, that Mercury retrograde, that Venus retrograde, where everybody's kind of dispersing, or going into themselves and not really knowing what's going on. There's a level of confusion there sometimes,
right.
in those energies. And so the
Well,
full
can
moon,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just wanted to ask, because you were talking about confusion, and then my spirit guides brought in Neptune. What's going on with Neptune?
Well, Neptune right now is having a conversation with Mars. And Mars is still in Sagittarius, which is a masculine energy, but Mars is in Sag, it wants to break free. It wants to expand and live out and speak its truth. Mars and Sag can be a little bit chaotic. It can be, kind of like all over the place, not really knowing, but which way it's going to go. There is an expression of Mars and Sag, but Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the collector of wisdom. So it is an expansion of our truth,
Okay.
expansion of our spirituality. So that is talking, it is in a square to Neptune, which is in its domicile or home in Pisces. And so Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So it is unconditional love. It's transcendental. It's what we can sense and feel, but we can't always see. It also is the planet. It rules the planet. It rules, illusions, right?
Yeah.
And deceit, and, things behind the veil that are cloudy. So, in a square to Mars, it could be like we want to expand and speak our truth. We know what we want to do, but things are a little confusing. It all depends on where you are at, and in your own personal birth chart, how things are aspecting. But it could also be an action or a movement of your own truth, or expansion into a higher level of spirituality, into a higher level of unconditional love. Um, there's always a higher and a lower octave expression of every energy. But yes, Neptune is involved, and that is what Neptune's doing. Now, for this full moon, Neptune is trining the moon, which is a harmonious energy. And when we talk about harmonious energies in astrology, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. It means that it's easy, right? That it flows easy. I mean, yeah, I think most of the time it does express itself in a good way, but again, you could be looking at the Cancer moon, the emotions. Are you in touch with your emotions? Are you just moody, being overprotective or controlling? You talked about that, Tracy, and somebody in the chat did, where Cancer energy, Cancer and the moon can also be about controlling and overprotecting and over nurturing and things like that. So with that trine to Neptune, if the expression is on the lower side, right, you could be fooling you could be deceiving yourself or others, or trying to control that expression between the moon and Neptune. Or if it's flowing nicely and you're elevating and releasing those emotions and actually using that Capricorn energy to be practical, there's an elevation there, potentially a spiritual elevation. There's an elevation of a higher level of love. So again, it's going to express differently for everybody. We're all in different places, right? In our awareness and on our journey, and that's totally okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's unbelievable what you can see in your personal chart and how you evolve over time and where you're supposed to go. It's unbelievable. I cannot even tell you how striking it is. It's crazy. But yeah, that's what's going on. And today we had Uranus, which is the planet of sudden change and breaking out and actually doing something new and different potentially, or being revolutionary, or just being a rebel. It can also be kind of weird and sort of wonky.
I'm good at that.
Is that you? That has been squaring Saturn. And it's a big astrological event because Saturn and Uranus has been squaring all year 3 times, right? Coming in and out of retrograde. And today, Uranus went direct. So when anytime there's a retrograde, the idea is to bring it back into ourselves. Bring that back energy, like roll it back into ourselves and be contemplative and sort of slow things down. And with Uranus, which can cause tension, whatever is going on, it's rustling underneath the surface because it wants to create change. It wants to create a little bit of anxiety and jumpiness and a little feeling like, oh, there's something I'm supposed to do. And so that's been squaring Saturn, which is, again, practical, the father of integrity. Are we building something restrictive? Are we building something that's going to last and stand are we acting responsibly, authentically? So today Uranus went direct. The full moon happened yesterday. We have Mercury in retrograde until February 3rd. And we have Venus in retrograde till January 29th. And then we've got that Pluto and that Sun, right? Uncovering things.
Right.
Things could change. We could have sudden things happen. I mean, look, like you mentioned, just the things that are happening in the earth, right? We had a volcano erupt in Tonga that, threatened the west coast of the United States. We had tornadoes in Florida. Yep. I have a couple friends that live. It's like, does that ever happen? So there is an element to that too, right? The energies are universal and they affect us all as a collective. And then, of course, in our individual birth charts, they affect us and on our own life's path. But yeah, so look for some sudden things to come out. Look for some, potentially some deep things within yourself, or to actually be able to see a situation, whatever that is, a job, a relationship, something really for what it is, and know that Pluto's there to help you transform it. Uranus is there to help you break out of it. Just being aware of that and moving with it rather than against it, because resistance is never, that creates that can make the fall a little bit harder, right? so I'm recommending to everybody that's telling me, gee, I'm having trouble with this. I don't know how to say this. I thought I was gonna, my relationship's going straight. Kind of just sit with it. If some things have come back to you for review, take a look at it.
Right.
Entertain it. Break it down. I wouldn't carve anything in stone right now in terms of love or money or anything that is tangible. Now is the time to plan and the time to look within. And so this full moon gives us the emotionality around all of this energy and a culmination of what's been going on. And the full moon energies can last up to 6 months. So look for things to start rolling and changing and shaking and stirring between now and the next 6 months. Yeah.
And then add the eclipse season to that as well.
Which starts in April.
Yes.
It starts
Well,
in
and we
April.
just came out of one that they can potentially last up to several months as well.
Yes, they can. They can. I mean, you have the new moon and then the full moon culmination, and then there are effects from the full moons after. And yes, the eclipses, definitely 6 months to a year. And we are just coming out of that. And those eclipses actually happen on the axis of where the nodes are at any given time. So we just came out of eclipse season where, we had 18 months of Gemini and Sagittarius eclipses. And now, somebody mentioned earlier, we're going into that Taurus Scorpio axis. And so the eclipses will occur on those nodal axes. And again, it's where we've come from and where we're going. So, those of you that are significantly affected either in your birth chart or by having those nodes will start to see and feel a push to leave certain things behind and move towards something else, or integrate and get a better understanding of how to mix that in a positive way in our lives. So it's really an interesting time. I love the astrology, and I really am. Thanks so much for letting me come on and talk about
Always.
it, Tracy.
You're welcome on my channel anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. Before we kind of end things, can I ask you now? I didn't ask you this before we started shooting, so it's off the cuff. Nobody's going to hold you down to anything.
Okay.
But most of my viewers are twin flames. Is there anything in the full moon astrology that strikes you? I know that you resonate with being a divine feminine. Is there anything that's kind of happening that you think could be a catalyst in the twin flame journey?
The moon and Neptune, higher octave. I've looked at a lot of soulmate relationships, significant relationships, those that, could replicate that. And I will tell you that I see a very strong Neptunian flavor to a lot of them, but they are all different. It's Neptunian, it's Plutonian energy, and Saturnian energy. So when you ask that question, yes, there can be an element right now that can affect your soul relationships significantly. And remember, after Venus comes out of retrograde in February, right around Valentine's Day, Mars and Venus will conjunct again. And I haven't looked that far ahead to see if it's aspecting Neptune or Pluto or Saturn, but there's an opportunity there. You have the masculine and the feminine that are coming together, and Mars will be in Capricorn by then. Again, Saturn ruled by the father, integrity, right? Authenticity, right? And
Hopefully.
Right, that's what and so they'll come together in February, and in a place where I think it's time to take a serious look at what's going on. And there's also an element of Jupiter in some charts that I've seen that are significant. So yes, I think we look at the review process of Venus right now in relationships is really significant, and that Pluto and that Sun. So I do think, and I don't know, I haven't been watching the chat, but have any of you had relationships come back for review, or felt like something is sort of floated away a little bit. And if those things are happening, they're supposed to, because I believe that once Mars and Venus go in together and conjunct in Capricorn, again, it's integrity, it's authenticity. I think only the things that are of that level and where you're at, coming together, will actually stay, at least for
So,
now.
so it's interesting. I did a twin flame reading today for Patreons over in Patreon. So if you guys are members of Patreon, you haven't had a chance to see it yet, go check it out. But it does seem to be showing up in the masculine's energy, this thing of integrity. It's like right now, a lot of the masculines are kind of off grid, going within. Like you said, the retrograde is more about retrospection, going inside. And it looked like the masculines are looking at their integrity, how they've been showing up this far in communication and honesty and integrity. And so it kind of showed up in the reading, and I was wondering if it was showing up in the, astrology.
It is in the Venus, and I honestly, with all this Capricorn energy, it's all about integrity, and with the retrogrades and things, and in the year, and with the Aquarius energy, which things are, the sun is going into Aquarius tomorrow, so that is breaking out and doing something different, like taking what you learn. And yeah, I absolutely think that applies, Tracy, for sure. And maybe things are coming back to be dealt with and released forever, and maybe we aren't, maybe that's not something that you're seeing, but might be happening energetically, or someplace where you actually can't see it. You'll know
Right.
if you can sense it or feel it. I think there was something, Beck, she actually said, I heard somewhere that women often meet a soulmate during their Jupiter return. uh I will tell you that may be true. I mean, Jupiter represents, it is a masculine energy. It represents, it's the father of wisdom. A lot of people that read for soulmate connections in astrology look at Jupiter as a masculine influencer. And I think that, yes, that is the case. Now, whether or not that actually is a specific indicator of meeting somebody during a Jupiter return, I'm going to say I don't think so. It depends on the area that it's hitting, the area of life that it's hitting for you. And it also depends on where you can find your person in your birth chart. So
So we need to talk after this, right?
yeah.
No.
So is where your relationship energies, what you draw in, right? What you're attracted to, you can see it in your chart. Where is that placed? Is it within reach? Is it is it in a communicative area of life? Is it in the day to day? We have earth signs, right? We have air signs. We have so you can find those things in an individual chart. I would not say that is a standard, that if you have a Jupiter return, you know, that's going to happen. I would say no.
So I just want to give you another plug here. I want to tell everybody that if you would like to get a hold of Julene and have her do your natal chart, or I'm not sure, but I think you've been even looking at doing, like you said, relationship charts,
Yep.
looking at people's fated aspects in a relationship, and whether, kind of predicted, can use it to predict.
Predictive.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So yes, I do birth chart readings, and I love them. And I always think that if you haven't done one and you want to move on to something more significant, it's important to understand your own birth chart first. But yes, a synastry reading, which is a relationship reading, I do those as well. And what that consists of is an analysis of both birth charts, because you have to look at each individual path and where they're at in their soul's journey, right?
Right.
And you talk about that all the time, Tracy. It's not always leveled out. It goes here
Right.
and here,
Right.
right?
That's why when I do my twin flame reading, I do that bridge to union. I take a
Yeah,
look at where's the masculine on his own personal journey,
right.
and then where are we,
Hmm.
on ours, and then what are we doing together? What's the
Exactly. And that's how you look at it in astrology in practical terms. So you look at two charts, then you put a synastry, what we call a synastry chart together, and that's basically an overlay. What that tells you is how your natal energies mix, how they talk to one another, right? How you would relate to one another in the areas of love or in the areas, of your what you believe in or what your soul wants and what emotionally what you need. And then once that's understood, you can create what we call a composite chart, which is an actual chart of the relationship itself. And from there, you can monitor transits. You don't really monitor transits of a synastry chart, but you can monitor individual transits and progressions, which, yes, you can predict some things. And then you can monitor the transits and the composite chart. And the composite charts are fascinating, but I will say you can't do a composite chart until the relationship has actually been started and gotten, grown some legs, right? So
right?
I wouldn't do a composite for
Would you say
somebody.
42 years that my
Yeah, I'd say that's a while, but at least 6 months. You want to make sure that something's going on. But you can do individuals and a synastry on anybody that you meet, or even anybody in your family. Um, it doesn't have to. That does not have to be a romantic relationship. None of these have to be
right?
a romantic relationship,
No,
but
no, I just
yeah,
know that a lot of my
yeah,
followers are twin flames, so I just,
yeah.
wondered if you were able to kind of
Hmm.
help them on that journey as well if they requested it, or if they, because some people already know their birth chart, maybe they know
They
their
do.
twins birth chart too. I don't know.
Yeah, and if they already know their chart, then yes, definitely can move right into that. And I do have the relationship readings. In that case, it would be an overview of both, looking how they at the energies, and then the composite chart. So it's a lot of information. It's really
Right.
interesting, and you know, you learn a lot. There's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. So, and I read live via Zoom because there's an intuitive piece there for me.
Right.
So that's for me. That's where I really, getting to know somebody and talking to them, and then and the expressing and collaborating on the energies in their charts is where things start to come out and the aha moments start to occur.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, when I do my deep dives with people, I
yeah,
I, re I require that it's live through a video chat so I can tap into their energy, not just the cards. I like to do the intuitive aspect and work with my guides. So, let me see. There was something else I was going to ask you before we signed off. What was it? Um, Gosh, we'll get off of here and I'll be like, oh, damn, I wanted to ask her about that. Now I can't think of it. Um, oh, yes, I just wanted to give a little teaser. I would like, now that we kind of figured out how to do this, if we could get practiced with it, maybe do a couple new moon, full moons between now and then, I would really, really, really love to bring you back to look at the January or the February 2nd, 2022, is it Uranus or Jupiter return of the United States in the United
actually,
States birth chart?
yes, actually, it is the United States' very first Pluto return. So Pluto returns to the exact position, and a person, none of us will ever have a Pluto return,
No, not
right?
not
Uh,
until we hit 5D at least.
exactly. I mean, this is going back to 1776, right? But there have
Right,
been
right, right.
other, yeah, there have been other countries that have had Pluto returns, and there's history there. And so I plan on talking a lot about that, and I'd love to talk with you about that too. And hopefully, as we get a little, like I said, the technical stuff is like Thank you for hanging in there, everybody, and Tracy. But you know, our intention was to broadcast this on both of our channels, and it just wasn't happening. So we broadcast it on Tracy's channel. So I'm hoping that we can get it on both in the future, if we, you know, we're lucky enough.
Now,
So I'd love
will
to
we
have
be
you
able
guys.
to take the playback and put it on your channel? Will you
Oh,
be able to do that?
yeah, yeah, for
Okay.
sure. For sure. So you know, and I already have like a lot of your viewers on my subscribe to my channel. And so thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate it
They're the best. I
so
got the
much.
best viewers in the world, man. I really do.
Every one of they're so nice. Every one of them, a pleasure that I've been able to talk with or interact with, even on my Facebook page. So I just, yeah, I really appreciate it. And I would love to have any of you. I also have a private Facebook page, but you can find me on YouTube. And yeah, and to do more things with Tracy. Tracy is awesome. Like, just so you guys know, like I've known Tracy for like 3 years, so even before all this, and she's been so encouraging and so sweet. And I've met a lot of people just on this astrological journey and just, you know, transformation of my life that I couldn't be more grateful for knowing. And I just hope that I can, yeah, can give some of that back to you.
So I don't mind giving shout outs. Talk about the recorded message you did yesterday with what's the name of her channel?
Whitney, you know, I did, what happened was we had a live set up for the full moon, and on when I do the lives for the full moons with Whitney, her channel is Accurate AF, so AF Tarot. And when
So
I do,
Accurate AF Tarot.
yeah, and when I do them with her, you know, it's a very fun atmosphere, and we go through the signs and talk about things, and she's awesome too. I love, love, love her. I love you both.
Maybe we could do a three-way
That would be
sometime
fun.
in the
She
future
has
if
a
you
lot
can
of
figure this
cancer.
out.
She has a lot of cancer energy too, like you do. But anyway, we were going to do it yesterday, and the technology went completely sideways. I mean, completely sideways. So that was the second time that happened in the last few months. So I did a recorded reading by myself and posted it because I wanted to put something out on my channel. But yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think I want to do. I'm so glad that everybody wants to do collaborations because
Right.
we all have something. Everybody wants, you know, something a little bit different. And I think bringing flavors together is so much fun. And it also gives us a broader perspective. So
Awesome.
I love doing
And
that.
honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Rich Lopp. So I mean, I'm all about giving shout outs and
Thank you.
you know, collaborating or anything. I'm not here to corner any markets. I'm here to change the world. That's my mission.
Oh,
So it just anything that we can do collectively
yep.
to help people on their ascension, on their twin flame journey, on their personal own ascension journey, you know, whether they resonate with being on any of those other, you know, journeys or not. I believe that we're awakening as a collective, and that, you know, I don't know why, but I'm telling you guys, I'm psychic. She might be accurate as fuck, but I'm psychic as fuck.
You
And I
know?
know something big is coming with this Uranus return for the United States. I see great, great change happening, and I have to admit, some of it's not going to be easy, but in the long run, we're going to look back and say, wow, that was the game
You
changer.
have said that, and like my psychic friends, you both have said that, and actually my astrology mentor, she has said the same thing. There are a lot, and I believe, looking at the astrology, and I have an intuitive piece, that between now, the next 5 to 10 years, we will be in a completely different reality. I mean, we've seen things change in our financial structures and our corporate structures since Pluto has gone into Capricorn, which was 2008. We're getting to the end of that transit with Pluto. And again, once Pluto transits and makes those changes, it's permanent. Things don't go
Right,
back to the way they were. And so we've seen things change in our look at we've seen crypto coin out of nowhere, how we pay for things, you know, swiping and PayPal and everything on the internet, you know, whereas 10, 15 years ago we all had to go to the bank, right? So that's
right.
just a small thing. Or, you know, when we saw things change the last year and a half to 2 years, all of the office buildings that large corporations used to occupy,
Gone. And look at all the
right?
people that used to work in an office now working from home because of the whole,
Right.
um, you know, you know,
Exactly.
we can't mention it, but you know.
Well, exactly. And that's even interesting too because Saturn is transiting through Aquarius. And that is Aquarius rules technology, right? And Saturn is build something strong and structured. Uranus rules Aquarius, break out and do something different. Our technology has just done volumes. I mean, Aquarius is also bringing everybody together, right? It's a
Right?
collective. It is, and it's humanity coming together. And so we've got technology. Like, think about that. Do you there? It isn't an accident that those two energies rule the same thing, and they've been transitioning in the house of expansion,
Right.
right? So
Amen. I'm ready.
amen. I know. I mean, I look at this stuff and I'm like, wow, right? Yeah.
So, just last question, and if you don't know yet, it's okay because I know you're still on your journey of discovering too. But is there any way to read a chart for like the pandemic or
Well, yeah. There's a lot. Yeah. So if you look at that Mars, and I didn't say that out loud, but if you look at the Mars in the T square with Neptune, Mars in Sagittarius breaks out and goes everywhere, travels far and wide, right? Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, which is foreign lands. It spreads like wildfire. Mars and Sag. Squaring Neptune, which also rules health and disease, and also chemicals and drugs. So yeah, that square, yes, indicative. I don't really think it's an accident
no,
either.
and I've got a theory, just a theory, because it's kind of an intuitive hit that the more it spreads, we'll call it, the more it spreads, the weaker it becomes, and the more we're going to get to kind of a herd immunity type thing is what I feel intuitively. I know where I live, it's really, really hitting hard, but it's so mild, like everybody's just experiencing it as a mild flu. And so I'm hoping that as it spreads far and wide, it also begins to break down. I think the more healthy people whose immunity gets to it, the more it weakens it, is what I'm hoping. So
Well,
it's intuitively.
yeah, there's like I said, the Mars square, the Neptune, right, can spread, but we also have Jupiter that's moved into Pisces along with Neptune, and that is also expansion. So you could say, oh, that's potentially a double whammy where that's concerned. But Neptune is in its domicile, in its home in Pisces, and yes, Neptune rules diseases and things like. It is what we can't see with our physical eye. It's what moves around behind the veil. So that could describe that. However, Neptune, as it transits through Pisces and before it goes into Aries, Neptune also dissolves, right? It
Right.
dissolves and sort of yeah. So there, a lot of astrologers are looking at things like that, and they're hopeful that, like you said, that is exactly what will happen. And
I
we
told you I'm pretty intuitive. I don't know. I
yeah.
kind of get these hits, and I'm like, there's really no way to test that theory until it happens. But, we can go back later and watch these videos and think, it could kind of be predicted, not just by intuitives, but also by the charts and by, the transits. And
Mhm.
so there's, I guess, more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Well, yeah, and depending on what your mental makeup is and what you need. Like for me, I'm very logical. I'm a Gemini. You're a Cancer, so I'm a Gemini, but with a lot of Piscean qualities. But nonetheless, it's a lot of I have to see things in a logical format, break it down, look at the detail, process it in an intellectual way. And so astrology helps me absorb the intuition that I do get, because I'll second guess it. You know, I don't know if anybody
Right.
else out there shares that with me, but also what I'm the messages I'm able to get from my friends and the people that work with me, like Tracy. And it's so then the astrology sort of coming together, you know,
Right.
gives me a little bit more of clear
I
vision.
definitely need it. I mean, how many times have I messaged you? I'm like, listen, I just channeled a message and I'm hearing that this is going on and this is going on, but I don't understand it. Can you kind of give me a little insight here? Because I don't know why, but my guides will, I've even channeled quantum physics, and I've had to go and do research just so that I could articulate the message I received,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so far out of the realms of my own um, learning and knowledge. It's like external to me. It's I just am like a straw. I just bring the information in and then I deliver it. And yet I'm like you in a sense. I don't have a lot of air in my chart, but I'm very logical. I think it's the Virgo in me,
Oh
because
yes,
I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart, and I'm like,
yes.
a deets. I need the deets, man. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
just want to know the details. I want to understand
Yes, that's very
details.
Virgo. That's very
Yeah,
Virgo. Yeah, yeah. Organize. You got to organize those thoughts. It's got to make sense. And then you file it away. It's like, oh, okay.
right.
Yes. Uh huh.
Yep. Yeah, I've even gotten some sacred geometry that I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, okay, now what's that? And I have to go and do like an image search to find out what it is I'm sketching in my notebook. I'm like, okay, I see it in my mind, but I have no idea what it is. And then I got to go and do research. So
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful that the two of us have crossed each other's paths. I don't think that it's a coincidence at all.
No.
I think you're part of my soul tribe. I think
Oh,
we're, on this journey together. And I think people are going to see a lot more of both of us in the
yes.
future, working together, collaborating, and hopefully, even expanding. Because I know quite a few other readers that we could even, maybe, I don't know what you can do with the software you've got or what your son can do with it, but I know that wouldn't it be cool to have like 3 or 4 people in the room
Yeah.
and we're all delivering messages?
He actually set up a guest scene for me for up to 4 people, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, how much fun would it be to have a couple of different psychic intuitive folks and a couple of astrologers, and really
Yeah,
just pick some topic like on a regular basis. Part of what I see is just really having conversations where we break things down, and even if we don't see it the same way, right? It's okay,
right,
right? I mean, I'm a Gemini, so this and that can always be true for me, right? But I think that we
right,
all need to be able to see each other's perspectives and appreciate them and respect them, even if we don't agree. And so, yes, Tracy, we've been talking about this for months. It's like, yes, I mean, I think our job is to give our message in the area that we're gifted, but at the same time, show everybody that we can come together without competition, without
right.
prejudice, and we can have a conversation. And if we disagree, we can do it and not, you know, have a protest or
Right. I mean,
feel
that
like we're
was
going to
like
control it.
basics we learned in
Yeah.
school, right? Is modern debate. I mean, I had a debates class in school. We had to learn how to have conversations and respect each other and have opposing views, because, when you say this and that can be true, the truth of the matter is that nothing exists but our own belief system. So, whether you think you're right or wrong, you're pretty much right. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, that it's okay that other people see things differently, because our world how boring would
Right?
our
I mean,
world be if we all saw
exactly.
things through the same lenses?
Exactly. I mean, we're supposed to be able to be exist somewhat like a melting pot, cohesively, even, like, and be happy about it. And everybody's experience is different, and so whatever their truth is based on their own experience, it's their experience. So it's
Right,
valid because it belongs to
exactly.
them, right?
Right.
And we see like so much of the at odds and the, putting people in different categories in the world right now. And, if we're going back to the astrology, all of these things moving into Aquarius, it wants us to come together. Come
Right.
together, bring humanity together, figure out ways to work with one another. I know we can do it, right? Um, Jupiter
I'm on
and
board.
yeah, I mean, Jupiter and Neptune moving into Pisces um, is also could be a really awesome. It's supposed to be. I believe it's the universe wanting us to expand spiritually, stand in our truth,
Right.
but with unconditional love.
Right.
Yeah, and elevate spiritually, and I believe that, and I think it's
Well,
coming.
that
I do.
that is the divine feminine. I mean, it's the rise of the divine feminine is what's happening is we're not all in the Capricorn, Saturn, the patriarch rule. We're bringing in that feminine, unconditional love and intuition and, nurturing. And we're balancing that with, of course, the masculine aspect of doing, not just wanting, but also doing the right thing and implementing the correct course changes in our lives in order to be a more balanced collective. And I think it's high time.
Yeah, and what better time to do it while Jupiter and Neptune, who travel fairly slowly, right?
Mhm.
Jupiter travels a year, right? Maybe it's going to retrograde this year. I haven't looked that far, but what a good time to have them traveling together. If you're looking at Jupiter as being the higher octave, right, of the
Right?
masculine, and Neptune the higher octave of the feminine Venus. So, the possibilities are endless, what we could do as a collective. But, it starts with each one of us, right? You've said that before. It's like each one of us.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really awesome.
So, yep, changing the world one consciousness at a time.
Yeah, and doing it in a fun way. Part of what like for me is like I come from the logical world. Like my career for I've switched that over, but has been in a practical, logical industry, and that's again how I always thought. But as I began to change and elevate and learn about my journey and growth, I see I've faith, right? Faith in things that I can't see. But I bring both sides in, right? Because we are living a human experience on this earth, right? So we have to deal with the practicality of things, even though,
Right.
the more and more I get, then like I don't want to, but nonetheless, nonetheless I have
Right.
to. But there is two sides. And, that is bridging a gap too. Like you started this off talking about bridging that gap. So we come right here to it where, yeah,
Right. Right back round
yeah,
circle again.
yeah.
So I want to thank you so very much.
Thank
And
you.
guys, I've been watching the comments. I just couldn't reply back. You guys are the most wonderful viewers I could ever ask for. I know that, it's funny because where was it? I saw, of course, now I won't be able to find it, but there was one that I wanted to respond to. Oh, Shauna McCoy. She said intuitively she feels the same way.
Yeah.
And so, I really do think, and just, I've heard you say several times, I think you downplay your intuition a little bit there, Julian. Um, you talk a lot about the logical side of you, but I'm pretty sure if we go digging in your chart there somewhere, we're going to find some of that intuition
There is.
because I know that how we met was through the twin flame journey.
Yeah.
And I have seen what I want to call metaphysical impossibilities and synchronicities happen in your life that you could not explain, and yet you knew.
Well, it's interesting that when I start to look at those things not from a logical place, I'm able to put the pieces together from the time I was a child. And so, yes, there is a high level of intuition. I have, if anybody wants to look at their birth chart, let me tell you, it's just crazy. But like all of my Gemini logic energy for me sits in my 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces and Neptune. So,
Right.
so it's all there. So yes, there's a Pisces. That's what I was saying earlier. There's a Piscean, intuitive, Neptunian flavor there for me. So, but the thing is the logical part of me wants to second guess that, wants to go,
Right.
oh, I don't know how I know that. I just do. But it just
Right.
must be that I have, good spidey sense or something. But
Right.
I'm coming into that. So yes, you're right, Tracy. And yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody else. Jude said that she was going to inbox you, that she might be interested in getting her chart done. And then I do believe that she passed the information on to another girl in the chat. Well, I don't know why her name's not coming up. But anyhow, I think you might get a couple of people to get a hold of you. So you can look forward to that, and talk to Accurate
Whitney.
AF. What's her first name?
Whitney. Yeah, Whitney.
Talk to Whitney about if she would be interested in doing like a collaboration where all of us come together. I would be really interested in seeing what her intuition has to say also about this this February 2nd, what is it?
The Pluto, and I'm planning on doing.
I keep saying Uranus, but I know it's Pluto.
Yeah.
Pluto return.
And
I don't know why, but I feel like it's big. I feel like it's even going to be big for the twins.
It's big for everybody. Again, Pluto's transformation, right? It's karma. It's bringing things up to be changed. And again, beginnings and endings, but changing permanently. And so it is a big deal for the United States, obviously. But I do think for everybody collectively, and obviously I'll be watching those energies and how they're aspecting my chart and the chart of my clients as well as the collective, because I think that it's just going to get more exciting. I can see it, and it's just even just the history, just the events of the Earth are just unbelievable. But yeah, I think we should put something together, and I'm planning on doing something with my mentor and my teacher on the astrology, just on the United States Pluto return. But honestly, she is super intuitive too. Like she's a Pisces rising, right? But she's she's very logical in her own sense. But it would be so much fun to do.
How cool would that be? Because we have two astrologers,
yes,
and we have two psychic mediums. And so how interesting would that be to get all four of us in the same chat room and do a collab, and we could share on all of our social medias. And
so much fun. It's all set up. We just have to test it a few times because but yeah, we can do it. And we've talked about those things for a long time, Tracy, and I'm so excited to actually start moving and doing things like this. It just, and thank you to all of you who this is what makes all of these things turn and move forward, is the interaction from everybody. And so, I'm really, it's so awesome. Thank you, Tracy.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to do this again soon, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And yes, I was just seeing, I got another message in there. I do that all the time. I just know things, but don't. Yes, claircognizant. Okay, they're talking about the clairs. So,
yeah.
So yes, guys, thank you so much, and we will catch you on the next live, probably the new moon. Maybe we could swing something for the new moon. And
we have that coming up in February. Yep, another new moon.
So maybe we can get the technological stuff down to an art by then. Yeah, well, hey, if we did this good in retrograde, we're going to kill it. So don't worry about it.
Actually, you're right. It wasn't that bad for a Mercury retrograde, was it?
I noticed when my furnace kicked on, it would glitch a little bit, but I don't know what that has to do with my reception. But the only time it glitched just a tiny bit was when my furnace would kick on. So Not
Well, you're
sure what
getting
that
all
has.
that weather back there, all that snow and blizzard, which I don't know where everybody else here is from, but I'm not like I'm in Arizona. So
Mm,
I was born and raised in Arizona, like 4 feet of snow and a blizzard. Whoo!
right.
I don't even know. I can't even imagine what that's like.
Well, ours, we got about 2.5 feet, but with all the
Jeez.
drifting, there were some places where it was literally like 4 or 5 feet deep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it was really windy, so we got a lot of wind with it. So with the wind, and anytime there's like I live by the lake, and so you get that cold blast of air coming over an unfrozen lake, and it creates that snow belt
Oh
effect.
wow.
And so we got hit really hard. That's why I didn't go live yesterday because I just was like, oh, I don't know, man. Everything like lights were flickering and there was a bunch of shit going down. And I'm like, I think I'll wait till tomorrow
Yeah.
because I knew it was supposed to kind of slow down and get better. So, it was
Er,
awesome. I don't think we had much trouble at all. We
yeah,
had a little
that's
bit of
good.
a false start.
A little
I'll
bit.
go I'll go into my studio and delete that because that was only a few seconds in.
I
So I'll delete that.
I think Rebel Talk Radio did that. I think he went in and did it for you.
Oh, did he?
I think he
Oh, good.
did. You can double check, but I think he did. I think he
Oh,
did.
okay. I'll check. But if he
All
didn't,
right.
I'll go ahead and delete that. But
Yeah.
so until next time, guys, I love you. Hi, Ashley.
Summertime in Australia. Yeah, you
Right.
back?
Oh, and she, they rub it in, don't they? I've got a friend that's over in Switzerland too, and I haven't talked to her in a while. I don't know what their weather's like now, but I remember when we were having crappy weather, she's like, "Oh, it's just beautiful here." And I'm like, "Yeah, rub it in."
Well,
So,
can share a little sunshine. And then when you come out this way in what, is it June? Then
July
July.
9th, guys. I'm allowed to announce it. I guess it's
Yeah?
already public knowledge. But Rich Lopp and his fiance, Leah Ann, is getting married July 9th in
Congratulations, Rich.
Yeah, they're
Hey.
getting married in Vegas. Actually, I think it might be Laughlin outside of Vegas, but they've asked me to officiate their wedding. So I will be, God willing, and travel open and all of that stuff. I will be there, and who knows? Rich, he likes to videotape his personal life a lot. Maybe there'll even be a video that he'll upload or share with everybody of the wedding. So we'll have
Oh,
to
that
see.
would be so cool. I would love to see
Yeah.
that.
So
But
Jesse and I, hopefully, like I said, God willing, because you never know, right? You never know if things are going to go in lockdown or shut down or whatever. But travel permitting, we will be there July 9th. And then once they get back, because I offered to watch his girls for them while they go on just an overnight. They're going to do their honeymoon, I guess, later. So I'm going to be there with them. And when that's over with, I'm going to see if perhaps me and Jesse can come and visit you and spend the
yeah,
day with you.
yeah. Now it's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive from Phoenix to Laughlin. Well, a little less, maybe 3 hours to Laughlin. But yeah, we'll figure something out. And if you're flying out of Vegas, I can always drive up there. We can, we'll figure something out. I'm so excited.
I know,
Yes.
3 hours. I mean, we'd be silly not to see each other if
Oh,
it's only 3 hours.
crazy.
Even
Yeah.
if I rent a car and meet you halfway or something and get a hotel room for the night just to hang out.
Well, you'd either want to come to Phoenix or I would come all the way there because really there's nothing in between.
No, we could
No,
hang out underneath the cactus somewhere.
there's not much in between, but there's fun on either side, so we'll figure it out and I'll look forward to it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I love
Thank
you. I'm going to
you.
get off of here. I
Thanks,
want to go check on
everybody.
my sister. She's been sick and she's sequestering in the bedroom. And so I wanted to make sure that she's not hungry or thirsty and not wanting to come out because she's in her jammies. And, so I'll go check on her. If you guys would say a prayer for my sister,
Definitely.
her house, her pipes froze and burst and flooded her house. And she's having a run of bad luck, which really I don't think is going to be good or bad luck. Intuitively, I feel like so they were in the middle of remodeling. They gutted the whole house.
Oh, wow.
And then they had a flood. And so thank God it happened before they remodeled. And thank God they have really good insurance. So the insurance may even recoup a lot in help with the remodel, you know.
Oh my
So
gosh, I
I
hope
think
so.
it might be a blessing in disguise. We'll have to wait and see. But if you'd send some prayers, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, Ashley, I'll tell her you send your love. Bye-bye, guys. We're
All right.
gonna cut off now.
Bye.
So
Thank you
I will see you
again.
next time.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.